point of it, right? So he'd been making progress. And what came up in the regressions that we did and in the hypnosis that we did was all of his success was driven by this need, this fear of being judged and this fear of rejection that he had experienced deeply as a kid. And in his, he had a terrible relationship with his father as a child. He has a better relationship now, but he could see how all of the emotional turmoil that was had created this fierce drive to succeed. As he would always say, oh, I'm going to crush it. I'm like, well, you don't have to crush it every day, right? And he saw how that created this physical response in his body. And it just so happened he had his blood work done prior to us having our first session, like the day before or something.
Uh-huh.
And then he had another set of blood work done 90 days later after we had done 3 months of work. And the physical test results were astounding. Like his doctor said to him, wow, you're like 85% there. Like his health improved dramatically in 90 days after having worked with doctors for 2.5 years. So it's those kinds of results that I can point to and have people go, wow, okay, right? Your brain is a powerful, powerful place. And so this work enables others to take back the power of their brain, to take back the power that they've given over to their fears, to their amygdala, which is your fight or flight mechanism in your brain, in your limbic brain. I like to call her Amy. Mm-hmm. Amy's a little lizard lady. Mm-hmm. She's just here to keep you safe and alive and on the planet. But if you're letting Amy run you based on your fears, well, that's exhausting, Jim. And so this is a way to give people freedom from living from a place of fear and really stepping more fully into who they are, who they want to be, their passion, their joy, their health, their well-being. And it's quite amazing to witness, and it's just an absolute joy for me to do this work.
I think it's very interesting that us as humans are quick to understand the need to exercise and eat well, get out, spend 20 minutes exercising or what have you, and it's very acceptable. But when you start talking about the brain and the strength of the brain and some of these transformational processes that you are, teaching people or walking people through, as well as just simple things of writing down goals, people are a little less receptive to that as they are just to going out and getting some exercise. And the more I hear about the strength of the brain, the more I believe the type of work that you're doing is so beneficial to people. And I wish that this message could go everywhere, because I've seen it in my own life in the last 2 years. Even as long as I've been in business and have had successes, I've seen my success multiply, X factors because of the mind work that I've been doing. How do you explain that to others? How do you explain to them how important it is to focus on the brain equally as much as your diet and your exercise?
It's a matter of how bad do you want to create change for yourself, right? How quickly do you want to move through the stuck feeling that you're having? The way I explain it to people is you've got this conscious thought that says, yes, of course, I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. Fill in the blank, right? Mm-hmm. But at a subconscious level, you've got a different belief. And that belief might be, well, it's not safe to be healthy because of XYZ that happened to me, right? Or it's not safe to be successful. If I'm successful, then I won't be loved, or I won't, the machinations that our brains come up with is astounding, right? But if there's a conflicting belief between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, if you think of it as energy, you've got this vibration happening that's kind of like ping-ponging back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's holding it in that stuck pattern. like Pong. Do you remember Pong when you
Yeah,
were a kid?
I do.
The very first video game, right? It's like that. And so this work that I do enables me to help folks eliminate the subconscious belief that's counterproductive to who they actually want to be and know they can be. But they put this belief into place a long time ago, sometimes as a very small child, right? And so you don't know that it's there. And so when you eliminate that, then you get everybody on the same page rowing in the same direction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which makes that transformation happen a lot more quickly.
I love analyzing vibration of, of ourselves and others. And I always like to talk about, because they don't quite understand. And I try to explain, like, you ever walk into a room and there's a couple in there and they've been fighting, and you walk in and you can just feel in the air, that there's something wrong, and they're probably in a fight or something. But the opposite of that is you walk in there having a good time, the vibration's different. You come in, you feel like, okay, I'm in a great place here.
Yes.
I mean, that dark cloud you
Yes.
feel when somebody's arguing, to me, that's a great explanation of vibration, because you can feel it in the air. And I think that we give off our own vibration.
Yes.
And by having our minds in a positive state, like you talk about, we're going to give off that positive vibration that others will be attracted to, as well as ourselves, to help heal.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, we're all energy, right? This is why I geek out on the science of all this, Jim, because you boil this down, we're all just energy. There's physics in here too. And so negative emotions have a lower energetic frequency, a lower vibration, and positive emotions have a higher frequency or a higher vibration. And so if you're vibrating at a lower frequency, then the law of attraction, which is always there as well, again, more physics, you will attract to you things at that same frequency, right? So if you get out of bed and bash your toe at first thing in the morning, you know how the rest of your day kind of spins out of control? Mm-hmm. It's that same kind of principle. The converse is true. So if you're vibrating at a higher frequency, I'm in a positive state of mind, I'm thinking good thoughts about myself, I'm having a positive outlook about where I'm going and what I'm doing, that resonates at a higher level, and that too attracts to you things at that higher vibrational level, creating an upward spiral versus a downward spiral.
I often think about my own vibration when I'm putting out there, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I've seen my own transformation the last couple of years, especially through the work I've done on this podcast, meeting people like yourself. I feel like my vibration level is much higher, emitting a much more confidence in what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and really attracting others to the projects that I'm working on. And I've had an incredible business year. I'm curious, when somebody's at that level, maybe this is just a selfish question, how do you teach people to maintain that? Because, there's ebbs and flows and things, but how do you maintain that higher level of vibration for long periods of time without exhausting yourself?
Yes, that is always the name of the game, right?
Sure.
And so that's where the visual reminders, the audio reminders come in, right? Having a message on your mirror. I am enough. I'm good enough. I love life. I am loved. Whatever that message is for you that you need to continue to reiterate to yourself, to remind you that, yes, a friend of mine always says, it's a great day to be alive, right? That's his mantra. It's a great day to be alive. Everywhere he goes, he greets people with that. It's a great day to be alive. And so find the word, the phrase that lifts you up, that you can use as your mantra, right? Mm-hmm. Another way is to have different inspiring audios. That's why I think podcasts have become so popular, because it's an audio version of finding ways to lift people up. In the recordings that I make for my clients, they're often quite good. If I do say so myself. And I'm like, oh, that was a good one. I'm going to listen to that, right? So I literally have a whole playlist of recordings that I've made for clients on different particular topics. I'm like, oh, I need a little I need a little hypno nap, right? So I go take 20 minutes and I pop in my earbuds and I listen to one of the recordings. And my body is trained now. So I'm out for 20 minutes. I'm really, really relaxed. And then I come back to, and I'm off for the rest of my day. But I've input this high frequency messaging into my subconscious as a little booster shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Makes a lot
So
of
there's lots of ways you can do it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes even the simplicity of a song on the radio can help keep you in those spots too. I mean, I've got a few that I like to click in.
Yeah, I always tell my clients, create your inspirational playlist. What are the songs that lift you up, that make you feel great? And put them on a playlist, put them on your phone. And anytime you need to shift your energy, then, put in one of those songs. My latest favorite is from the Black Eyed Peas, Be Nice. It's the name of the song, and it's awesome. It's just like the love you give is the love you get. So be nice, and it'll change your life. Right? It's just awesome.
I want to change the subject a little bit because I was looking at your press sheet, and the name of this show is called "The Answer Is Yes," and it's about opportunities we've said yes to in our lives. But oftentimes saying yes isn't the right thing to do. And I see a note here, one of your keynote and workshop topics is saying no with grace and grit. And that reminds me of my brother, who's been the COO and president of In-N-Out Burger the last 30 plus years. And when I talked to him about his work, he says, the hardest part of my job is saying no, because they're so focused on what they do, which is very simple, hamburger, fries, and drinks. Everybody wants to add and, all these great new ideas. He says, Jim, the hardest part of every day for me is saying no. And I would love to hear your perspective on saying no with grace and grit, because I think oftentimes we're afraid to say no, and it gets us into places and trouble and positions that we don't want to be in because we were afraid to say no to somebody. And what are you teaching on that? Because I think it's very interesting.
Well, that is a very popular challenge that most people have. And saying no is often, being able to say no is often a reflection of our own sense of self-worth and self-value, right? Many people say yes because they want to please others. They want to be liked. They want to fit in. They want to go along to get along. They don't want to rock the boat. And they will say yes, even though the rest of their body is going, no, not another thing, right? Mm-hmm. But they're taking on these things because it's instinctual to want to be a part of the community, in air quotes, right? Whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. And so by saying no, there's a fear that, I'm not going to be liked. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to fit in, and then I'll be all alone, right? Yeah. And from a tribal perspective, that equals death, literally, right? If you were outcast as a tribe member, hundreds of thousands of years ago, that was death, right? And so your amygdala, your Amy is like, no, we can't do that, right? We don't want to die. I'm here to keep you on the planet. So say yes, say yes, say yes. So when you start to look at it through this lens, and you can go, wow, okay, what's really true for me? What are my core values? What are my core drivers? Using those as guiding principles as what's actually important for you, what's important for your business, because businesses have values as well. Is saying yes to this in alignment or out of alignment? Is it serving the bigger vision of what I want for myself, for my life, for my business, or is it slightly or grossly off track, mm-hmm. right? So you can start to have these other compass points, if you will, markers to guide you. Then it makes it easier to saying no because, wow, that's a great opportunity. I